I was 47 when it all began. I was at the peak of my career, strong, independent, running my own department at a well-known firm. Life had thrown its punches, but I'd always fought back and won. Years of hard work, sleepless nights, and countless sacrifices. I had built everything I owned from the ground up: a beautiful home, a solid portfolio of investments, and a respected name in my industry. I had earned it all. Then, he walked into my life. Let's call him Fairytale. He was a new employee in my department. He was polite, ambitious, and about 10 years younger than me. He had this incredible charm, this way of making you feel seen. He was thoughtful, always asking how my day was, bringing me coffee just the way I liked it, remembering little things I'd mentioned in passing. It was disarming. Slowly, without even realizing it, I started to let my guard down. I had been on my own for so long, focused solely on my career. I'd built walls around my heart, and he was the first person in a long time who seemed to want to see what was behind them. I thought maybe, just maybe, this was fate. A second chance at happiness that I thought had passed me by. We started seeing each other outside of work. The coffee meetings turned into dinner dates. The polite conversations turned into late-night phone calls. Months flew by in a blur of what felt like a fairy tale. He made me feel young again, cherished. And then, he proposed. I'll admit, I hesitated. A part of me, the pragmatic, cautious part that had gotten me this far, screamed that it was too soon. But my heart, which had been silent for so long, shouted yes. We got married in a simple, intimate ceremony. He moved into my home, the home I had poured my soul into. It felt right. I never thought twice. I was all in. I gave him access to everything: my life, my home, my bank accounts, and most importantly, my trust. I believed we were building a future together, as partners. And then, he changed. The transformation was gradual at first, then chillingly fast. He stopped going to work, making excuses that his new boss was out to get him. Then he started controlling my life. He'd question where I was going, who I was meeting. He isolated me from my friends, subtly planting seeds of doubt about their loyalty. He convinced me to sign a power of attorney. He said it was just a precaution, in case of an emergency, so he could take care of things if I couldn't. I was so blinded by what I thought was love and concern that I signed it. I didn't know I was handing him the keys to my entire life, signing away my everything. One morning, I woke up, and he was gone. Just like that. The space beside me in the bed was cold. A sense of dread washed over me. I checked my phone, my emails. Nothing. Then I checked my bank accounts. They were empty. Drained to the last penny. A quick search revealed the worst. My house, my beautiful home, had been sold. He had used the power of attorney to liquidate all my assets. He had vanished, taking every penny I had ever earned. I was left with nothing. No money, no home, no husband. The man I loved was a ghost, and he had taken my life with him. The whispers started almost immediately. How could a smart woman like her be so foolish? She should have known better at her age. People judged me, pitied me, but they didn't know the real me. They didn't know the fighter I was. I gave myself 1 week to fall apart. I cried until I had no tears left. I let the grief, the anger, the humiliation wash over me. And then, on the 8th day, I got up. I was done with tears. It was time for plans. I wasn't just a victim. I was a woman with a very particular set of skills, and I was about to use them. I hired a private investigator, one of the best. Bees started to piece together the puzzle of his life. I traced every move he made, every fake name he'd used, every new address. For months, I was a shadow, following him quietly, patiently gathering my ammunition. He thought he was free, starting a new life with my money. He had underestimated me. And then, when the time was right, I struck. First, I went after his new life. I exposed him at his new company. I didn't just make accusations. I sent the HR department a neatly compiled dossier. Proof of his fraud, his real marriage history, police reports, and the true story of how he financed his new, respectable image. He lost his job within a week. Next, I went after my money. I filed a case against him. Every stolen rupee was traced. Every forged document was challenged. I walked into that courtroom not as a heartbroken victim, but as a storm ready to reclaim what was mine. It was a long, grueling battle. It took 2 years of my life. But I was relentless, and I won. The court froze his accounts. I recovered most of my property. His face, the face that was once so confident and charming, was now the face of a defeated, exposed man. But I didn't stop there. My fight wasn't just for me anymore. I realized how many other women could fall into the same trap. So I started a platform, an online community for women. I began teaching them how to protect their assets, how to spot the red flags of financial abuse, and, most importantly, how to survive heartbreak and rise from the ashes. He took everything I had. But in the end, I took back so much more. I took back my dignity, my financial independence, my purpose, and I took back justice. So, to every woman out there who thinks it's too late, who feels like she's lost everything, it is never too late. Never let anyone tell you that you're foolish or weak. Remember that silence doesn't mean defeat, and betrayal doesn't have to be the end. Sometimes it's just the beginning of your real story. If this story moved you, please share it. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of strength, survival, and the quiet power of fighting back.